Her Morgan horse, Wrangler. The bond between horses and humans goes back to the very beginnings of recorded history. From co-workers to comrades in arms, the two have been inseparable. In North America, horses are bred and trained for three basic reasons: racing, ranching, and showing. We'll experience the patience and understanding, the frustration and delight, which in the end will invoke, if just for a moment, that feeling of outspoken communication with nature at its most precise as we spend time with Louisa and Wrangler.
Wrangler's not just another pretty face. He's my show horse. He's a dressage horse. He's a working horse. He's a real athlete who can work 5 hours a day and get better and better by the end of the day. He's a great horse.
Louisa is a dressage rider, a trainer, and a teacher. All athletes' training hours are spent repeating exercises to bring out their best for a contest. They may seem to be simple movements, but are in fact the precise way they must move to show a judge that the rider's in control and the horse is responding. The shape of the horse is rather like that of a rowboat, wide at the back, narrow in front. Subtle things like the rider's position are critical to the balance of the horse, placement of the hands and the legs, all important in controlling the alignment of the horse. You might think that turning a corner and walking a straight line comes naturally, but each movement involves its own commands. A horse must execute movements on 4 legs. In dressage, the circle must be precise. The horse must bend to the shape of the circle, so both the front and back legs are on the track. Watch how Wrangler's shoulder is toward the rail and his back legs are to the inside of the ring. Now in slow motion of the walk, leg markings help to illustrate the precision of movement as the legs work in unison. It's here that hours of work, constant repetition, brings the discipline that's needed in the preparation of horse and rider. This time, the other way along the line. Now, let's look at the walk, the trot, and canter. Although dressage movements are not unnatural to the horse, they must be executed at a specific place in the test. Even a free walk on a loose rein requires practice. Notice how Wrangler lowers his head and stretches out his neck. How he shortens his stride back to a collected walk. The 3 different walking styles. At the bottom, the free walk. On the right, medium. On the left, collected. With lights out and glow tape on rider and horse, we can see the subtleties of posture and movement much more clearly. There are also 3 categories of trotting and cantering. They are collected, medium, and extended. See if you know which is which. As they stop, the extended, medium, and collected. With the glow tape, movements of each are emphasized. Trot is a pace of 2 beats per diagonal movement. Now, the canter and the 3 types. Extended, medium, and collected. The canter is a pace of 3 beats, 3 definite steps to make 1 stride of a canter. Next, we'll check a vital component, the equipment, when Catch the Step returns. The most important thing about the tack or equipment is that it must be comfortable for the horse and rider. It's very important how the rider sits in the saddle. Should be in the deepest part. The girth must be situated so it allows the horse freedom of movement and is comfortable. The brow band and nose band should be level on both sides. The ears must be free, not pinched. You don't want anything rubbing or chafing because little things can add up over a long day. The bit must be adjusted comfortably in the mouth to fit in the space between the front and back teeth, and the range should be adjusted to the rider's demands. Louisa prefers a wide rein. It's not cheap to feed, house, and train a show horse. To offset costs, Louisa and Wrangler give lessons.
Good, Jessica. Look way down to the end of the ring. Look far at the end of the ring.
Wrangler is a working horse. Unlike many show horses, he takes part in the teaching of young students, and they're patient teachers, careful of those in their charge, always keeping an eye open for a promising rider to bring into the show world. So let's get into this show business thing. Action, music, and away we go.
That's a girl. Oh, it's okay to get a canter. That's all right. Yes, you're ready to canter without stirrups, aren't you? No.
You can start riding literally as soon as you're big enough to sit a horse. For many, it's strictly recreational. But for the very few, it can be more than that. It can be a life's work. And for everyone, there's something very special in it.
Jump off. Big jump. There you go. Now you have to run your stirrups up. Bye, Jessica. See you next week.
Repetition is the key to improvement in any athletic endeavor. The best way to limber up and achieve balance and harmony is by progressive work on the lunge line, the horse on the end of a long tether. Lunging is an excellent exercise, enabling the development of greater suppleness and even paces. And in dressage, as with all training, right and left are worked equally. Dressage is training in deportment, response, balance, and athletic ability, whereby the horse is able to submit generously to the rider's control. The horse should be calm and supple, giving the impression of moving and carrying himself of his own accord. We'll look at the part that history has played in the development of what we now know as dressage when Catch the Step returns. The origins of dressage date back as far as horse and rider. Louisa and Wrangler give us a flavor of some key historical periods as we travel along the timeline to the modern day. It was as far back as 430 BC that a Greek writer named Xenophon gave us the first written rules on handling a horse. He wrote in his journal, "Punish seldom, reward often. Handle the horse with tact. Never deal with the horse in a fit of passion." These are the basics that have been used over the centuries and are still very much in practice today. In those very early days, besides the workhorse, there were two other uses. One was for war, the other for parades, pomp, and circumstance. In war, horses were taught to keep their heads high so as to protect the rider and help him stay mounted, for they'd not yet invented the inverted saddle. A parade horse is a high stepper with showy action, a high spirit, and a strong body. It all comes from training and constantly working together. And according to Xenophon, when the horse is induced to show off his natural graces, the result is a horse that likes to be ridden and is magnificent in its bearing. About 900 AD, the Normans invented the stirrup and the curb bit, essential in handling a powerful horse in tight battle situations. They also came up with the horseshoe, which helped improve traction, and also, of course, provided protection for a battle horse's hoof. Stirrups gave the rider much greater control in fighting, helping to balance in quick turns and in charging the opponent. In battle, you must stay close to obtain the advantage. The idea of dressage strictly for show came from the royal courts of France in the 1700s. This was the Baroque period. The riding rings were small, so the horses would go about their routines with much shorter steps. The object of the classical art of riding is to train the horse not only to be brilliant in the movements and exercises, but also to be quiet, supple and obedient, and by his smooth movements make riding a pleasure. Modern-day dressage differs from that period as it combines the intimate paces of the court with the cavalry and military paces. The dressage arena originated in this era. The arena may be of two sizes, 20 by 40 meters or 20 by 60. The main judge is located at the C marker, traditionally the seat occupied by the monarch. The rider enters at the A marker. Other ring markers guide horse and rider through the test. The military formation has been used extensively throughout history. We've all seen movies of the days when the gallant cavalry charged into battle, banners flying, hoofs pounding, hearts beating. Up until the horrible Great War of 1914-18, the cavalry had always been a major force of the army. In our century, the cavalry's become mechanized, but it was not until the Second World War that the last great cavalry charge took place in 1939. Canada has a proud tradition that's still one of the great attractions at many major equestrian events. The RCMP musical ride has thrilled Canadians and people throughout the world. Many police forces retain mounted units, not just for show, but for crowd and traffic control as well. Even in our modern age, the partnership of horse and rider continues to play a part in society. All this work has been aimed at a show performance, and we'll see Louisa and Wrangler at their very best next on Catch the Step. All horses are born to move, and they do all the things that we've been talking about quite naturally. Out in the open, though, there are moments to run free and wild and feel the sun and taste the breeze. It's great to be alive. Louisa is a teacher and a trainer, but what makes her special is the unconditional love that she has for all horses. Without doubt, the most appealing test. Done to music, it's the equestrian dance, as graceful and precise as ballet, yet as powerful and majestic as the horse itself. So the day is over, and it's been a good day for Louisa and for Wrangler. They can be well pleased with what they've achieved together.
If you have any questions or comments about this program, Louisa or Wrangler, or would like information about Louisa's Writing School, write to Catch the Step, Post Office Box 3359, VMPO, Vancouver, BC, V6B3Y3. We'd be happy to hear from you.